Hello, hello. Welcome to a new edition of our show titled Speak of Africa. Brothers and sisters, it's a new week and we're happy to welcome you. We want to say special thank you to all our viewers and to all our subscribers. We always welcome your comments. In fact, we live based on your comments. We've always said this is your show, so please feel free to comment on the content of the show. You send us a lot of videos every week. Most of you do that. And when we receive these videos, we put them together. Then we come up with a theme and present it to a mass audience. So this is actually your show. So we always want to know what you are thinking. So feel free. We are not dictators. Feel free to tell us what you think. Let us know what you want us to improve, and we'll do it. But at the same time, we're encouraging you to spend more time watching the show. Please also share the show with a lot of your friends and encourage them to subscribe. When you subscribe, we have bigger numbers and we have more people watching. Your message also is taken far and wide. As we said from the very beginning, we created this show to give you a voice. You are the African youth. You are the African people. People don't hear you. You are invisible. We created this show to make you visible so that people can see you and people can hear you. Now, as a result of this show, people in Washington, Russia, China are watching you. They know what you are thinking. So we're encouraging you to continue in this vein. Continue sharing content with us. Then share the show. Don't stop. Share the show with your friends. Tell everybody you know about this show so that they too can participate. What we're doing is we're starting a new conversation. There's a new African, the African who is different from the old African. The old African was a stooge, was like a slave. The new African youth is a rebel who wants change, who wants to change the situation. He's not happy with his predicament, so he's thinking about living a better life. That's the new African. This show is for the new African who believes in self-determination. We have a whole lot of stories for you today. As usual, we hope you're going to enjoy them. We're going to talk about a few countries. We're going to talk about Mali. We're going to talk about Congo DRC. We're going to talk about Nigeria. We're going to talk about Cameroon, La République. And we're going to talk about Ambazonia. In fact, for the show of today, we have so much information about Ambazonia. And most of the themes that we're going to drive today would actually relate to the other countries that we're dealing with. We'll spend probably like 80% of our time talking about Ambazonia. Then the rest of the time, we're going to introduce these other countries in the news. And much of the news just deals with the fact that our people are ready for self-determination. They want to become masters of their own destiny. Okay? They want to be masters of their fate. They don't want to be victims of circumstances. They want to be the architects of their own destiny. And that's what this show is about. Our idea is to raise your level of perception. We want to raise your level of consciousness. There is more to life than just conscious existence. You want to be aware that you are living, but you want to do more. You want to aspire to greatness. That's what this show does. The show wants to change you as an African. If we are dreaming about African unity, African integration, it will not happen if we've not learned to educate ourselves and empower ourselves. That's what this show is about. We want to empower you, the viewers. We don't only want to make you laugh and smile. We want you to take subjects that are serious, because the African predicament is a serious issue. Okay? So we don't just want to make you laugh. We want to make you think. And that's the purpose of this show, to make you think. So think like a human being. Human beings think, okay? So you don't just have to just smile and deal with low subjects. So this show is for people who are smart, who want to think for themselves and change their destiny. So we're going to start the show of today by looking at what is happening in Mali. Over the last few weeks, we've been telling you about the coup d'etat which took place in Mali, and changes in the coup d'etat took place again. Assimi Goïta has been the leader of the coup. But unfortunately, he has been challenged by the puppets of France. They just don't like this coup because France is not going to be in charge. So even ECOWAS, which is supposed to serve African interests, is not really supporting Assimi Goïta. So it's really a shame. You see what is happening. The African youth of Mali are supporting Assimi Goïta as a new leader for the youth. He sets an example for the youth to admire him and live a better life. He has a dream of a better life, and that's what he brings to the table. But the French don't like it because he's bringing change. They're going to lose all their pecuniary interests that they have in this country. So the French don't like that. Of course, a master always likes it when you remain a slave forever. Why would a master want you to be free? No. A master is always happy when you're a dumb slave. But the people of Mali, have proven that they are sick and tired of French neocolonialism and slavery. They want to become a free people, and which is why they are supporting Assimi Goïta. This week, we're really surprised that ECOWAS met in Ghana, but they decided not to lift sanctions on Mali. This is a mistake. By contrast, a coup d'etat happened in Chad. The French president went and installed Idriss Déby's son, Mahamat, as a successor. But they did not complain about that being a coup d'etat. But you have a similar situation in Mali, and the French are not supporting it because the new leaders just want to put an end to French neocolonialism. So the people can see through all these games. The people are not stupid. We love the new generation of Africans because they are smart. They can see through all the foolish games the French are playing, and they want change. This week also, ECOWAS met in Ghana, and they were talking about the implementation of a new currency, the ECO, in 2027. Everything was delayed also because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But we just think this ECOWAS is a neo-colonial institution, and we don't think they can really do anything to really serve the African people's interests. So we are watching, and we're telling you also to keep watch, okay? Don't fall asleep. If you fall asleep, they will take you by surprise and do terrible things to your country. So take your country back. Take your country back. That's what we're telling you on this show. So the people of Mali, we are with you. We support you. So take your country back and pray for Assimi Goïta. Next, we're going to move to Congo DRC. We've spoken about Congo DRC many times on this show, and you've noticed that there's a pattern. There are some countries that we use a lot on this show. It's because they always feature in the news. Then we figure ways that we can use them to educate the masses on some of the themes that are happening. There is always a lot of news breaking out, but what we do, we try to share this news with you. We show you the news behind the news. We do the analysis and make you think big so that you don't just think like a pedestrian way. We put everything in a geopolitical perspective so you can see the big picture, which is what we do on this show. We have the big ideas, and we know that you are a smart African, so we try to share this perspective with you, okay? Congo DRC, since Felix Tshisekedi came to power, he has had to deal with a very tough marriage. Actually, we told you, it looks like he did not actually win the last election, but he had worked a Faustian deal, like Dr. Faustus. He had worked a Faustian deal with Joseph Kabila, then he found himself on the seat of power. So after almost like 2 years of cohabiting with Joseph Kabila, it looks like he has finally maneuvered to get his freedom so that he can bring about the change the people seek. Unfortunately, the people are very poor. Why are the people poor? Because foreigners steal their resources. While they are fighting and sleeping, foreigners are stealing their resources. Since Felix Tshisekedi became president, he has been faced with the trouble, insecurity in the east. Unlike President Buhari, who is doing nothing about insecurity in his country, Felix Tshisekedi is making moves. He's trying to deal with the issue of insecurity in the east, especially areas like Ituri. You know that because this country is very, very rich, so a lot of merchants of death, they try to exploit the resources of this country. So the East always has a lot of issues because they have a lot of borders with other countries. You take countries like Rwanda. Those countries just want to focus on stealing the resources of Congo DRC. So there is fighting always going on and this is a scramble for resources. Felix Tshisekedi is doing his best to try to see how he can bring an end to all this conflict and insecurity. So he's spending political capital on these conflicts. He's trying to bring them to an end. And now we see that he's already looking at 2023 presidential election. So we know that he's trying to make a case why he should be re-elected. If at all you thought he was not elected the first time legitimately, this time he wants to really win the election in a legitimate way. So he's really making the effort to prove to his people that he wants to serve them and do the right thing. So we're really happy that he's looking at the whole issue of insecurity. By contrast, we take you now to Nigeria.
Hey, yo, Shay, I thought you was gonna take me to this place so I could get my taxes done. You know I'm trying to buy a new house. What's up?
Let's get it on. If you're searching for a house, call up my man Prince Ojong, the best in real estate. Take it from your guy's shape. When I say his services are the best in the states, word is born. He even take care of your tax forms, back refunds. So come, get your business done. Consultations, financial organization, fast processing. No waiting, this man is amazing. The Prince.
Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131.
Where the issue of insecurity is really ignored. In fact, this week you can see that a lot is happening in Nigeria. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo wrote an open letter to Mr. Buhari complaining about insecurity. So he raised a lot of issues, and if you look at most of the issues that former President Obasanjo raised in his letter, we've spoken about those issues on this show. We've said that insecurity is rife in Nigeria because of poor governance and mismanagement, corruption, okay? Mr. Buhari came to power with the idea that he's going to solve the security impasse in Nigeria, but he has instead exacerbated this problem. And that's why former President Olusegun Obasanjo is warning him, bringing him to attention to pay attention to the problems. So when you look at the tactics, we've said it on this show before, that Mr. Buhari is behaving in a way in which it shows that he is supporting the Fulani herdsmen who come from his ethnic group. These guys are causing a lot of havoc in Nigeria. They are causing a lot of crime, okay, kidnapping, banditry, but he's allowing them to just have a free reign. He needs to bring them to order. And that's what former President Olusegun Obasanjo is saying. Then at the same time, with the issue of Boko Haram, we've told you Boko Haram has been a serious problem. When Mr. Buhari was running for president for the first time, he promised the people he's going to solve this problem. But it looks like he's weak. He doesn't even know what to do with the problem. This week, news came to us that Sheku, the leader of Boko Haram, finally is dead, and it was confirmed. Well, we've heard about the death of this guy so many times that sometimes we don't know whether we should believe it or not. So let's see. He was killed at the hands of a rival group, which is the Islamic State. So let's just say that this has happened. But we think this is really not really important news, because his death is not going to change anything on the ground. Boko Haram remains in the Sambisa forest. Do you think the Buhari government can go and take them out there? No. They are there. That's their habitat. They are just like fish in a sea. They are enjoying the water and doing all kind of stuff. Then they come to land to create problems for innocent people. Mr. Buhari doesn't know what to do about it, so he allows them to fester. Many times, Mr. Buhari has declared victory over Boko Haram, but we've known that all of that is just a fake victory. It's not really true. Boko Haram is alive and well. They are still maiming people. They are still killing people in big numbers. And so we just think Mr. Buhari needs to look for a better way to deal with this problem. Then, of course, there is also the issue of Mr. Buhari just focusing too much attention on his critics. Bishops have told him in the past that please focus on the job. Keep Nigeria safe. Avoid all the confusion. Stop worrying about people who criticize you. In a democracy, the people have the right to criticize you, okay? You look, what is happening to the Igbo people. We think the way Mr. Buhari has handled it is not really good, because this week we even have a video we can share with you. This video was done by a priest who was talking about the need for reconciliation among Nigerians. Nigerians have fought a civil war during the 1960s, 1967. So we don't want Nigeria to fight another civil war again in 2021, okay? So enough is enough. There was a lot of bloodshed, a lot of sacrifices. So it looks like President Obasanjo was talking about the scars of war. He remembers those scars of war very well. But it looks like Mr. Buhari is not really thinking about the scars of war. His own son, as Mr. Obasanjo says, has been a victim of this Boko Haram fight. But it looks like Mr. Buhari takes things lightly. He ignores the problems. When he ignores the problems, things get worse. But we can share a video with you where you see how a priest is explaining how Nigerian leaders can try to work for reconciliation and peace among the people.
After the war, they told us there will be reconstruction, reconciliation, and rehabilitation. As not one of those things was done. And because we have not been able to talk these things over, the injury that was done to a people is handed from one generation to another generation. Scrapping history from our curriculum in the secondary schools will not solve the problem. The problem will be solved by, let us sit down and talk these things over. And if we can't handle it, we are going to Mali to reconcile them. Whom have we invited to come and help us reconcile ourselves? In our arrogance, we don't even accept we have any problem.
So instead of insulting the Igbos and threatening them on Twitter, Mr. Buhari needs to listen to this priest's message of peace. Bring a carrot. President Obasanjo also confirmed that bringing carrots is also a good strategy in fighting insecurity. Don't just use a hammer and a big stick, but when it concerns the northerners, you don't want to use a hammer and a stick. Now, when it concerns the southerners, you want to use a big stick and a hammer. The carrot may also work in this case. We said this on this show a few weeks ago, that Mr. Buhari should change strategy. Let him try to use the carrot. Former President Obasanjo has just confirmed what we've been saying. Probably our voice was too low, your voice was not big enough. Now, a former president of Nigeria has said it, has echoed what we've been saying on this show, so we're thinking things are going to change now. From now, we're going to take you to Cameroon LRC. Cameroon LRC is really a country that is going through civil war and is very, very corrupt. You have what I call a kleptocratic system of government. A kleptocracy is a government of thieves, by thieves, for thieves. So that's the kind of government you find in La République du Cameroon. The guy who is the leader is the big Ali Baba, the biggest thief in the land. So all the other guys who are his ministers in his cabinet have just learned to become thieves. So they steal with joyful abandon. Then the people have nothing. This week, some of the journalists and intelligentsia in the country, they were looking at the fact that Cameroon, La République du Cameroon, is applying for more money from the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund. What are they going to do with this money? A few weeks ago, news broke out that a lot of the 182 billion in COVID-related funds were squandered and looted by this government. But the International Monetary Fund wants to give them more money. It's just like you know that a guy is an alcoholic, but you want to give him more alcohol to drink and get drunk. So what do you think of these international organizations like the International Monetary Fund? The Bretton Woods organizations are not really good because they don't look at the interests of African countries. They look at their own mercantile interests. They just want to make money off Cameroon. They don't care whether the loans are not going to be repaid on time. They just want to make sure that Cameroon is saddled with enough debt so that they can hold Cameroon by the neck, which is really sad, and we don't like what is happening now. So you can see that there's so much debt, and they are really complaining. So with this, we're going to really take you now to Ambazonia. Ambazonia. A lot has been happening in Ambazonia. In fact, as we can tell you, Ambazonia this week, the message is the Ambazonia Restoration Forces are beating the shit out of La Republique toy soldiers. And when you look at, we have so many videos. You guys have sent us so many videos dealing with this conflict. In fact, I cannot even count the number of videos and pictures I've received the last 2 weeks, especially the last few days. So I've received them and I'm acknowledging my people. I receive whatever you've sent and we're going to share them with a lot of our people. Unfortunately, a lot of the pictures have so much blood and we don't think YouTube would like to see that. So we're just going to share them with you on WhatsApp, okay? Because we have a whole lot of those pictures. We'll share them with you on WhatsApp and maybe on Facebook. So just watch. In fact, this week, Ambazonia has been hot. We have a video that one of you sent to us, and it talks about General Valet Nka, who is complaining. He made it his mission to come to Ambazonia and clean out all the Amba restoration forces. What happened? Instead, the epicenter of the resistance, which is Bui, has just hardened. And of course, before we continue on this show, we want to give credit to all the generals who have been fighting this war, all the field marshals. Of special note is the guy they used to call General Nopiri. On this show today, we have elevated him to become Field Marshal Nopiri. And as his name sounds, Nopiri means that he has no pity for the enemies of Ambazonia. He has a mission to take victory to Buea, which is the capital of Ambazonia. And he has no pity with all the toy soldiers from French Cameroon. So he makes a case of decimating, neutralizing all of them. In fact, when you see the number of pictures which show the activities of General Nopiri, now Field Marshal Nopiri, you'll just be amazed because the pictures are just so many. So I'm sure most of the soldiers who come from French Cameroon, when they see some of these pictures, they will think twice before they go to Ambazonia. Ambazonia has become an inferno. It has become hell for the forces of La République. Most of those generals, they look at the soldiers from La République like toy Boy Scouts. They don't really know how to fight. So in the last week, we've seen that General Nopiti has emerged as a formidable force. He has shown his heroism. So today he's become a national hero in Ambazonia. Everywhere you go, people are talking about Field Marshal Nopiri. So he is the man of the hour, and they're just praying for him so that he should not be killed. But even if he's killed today, we've always made a case for this. La République makes a mistake of focusing too much on an individual. An individual will die and go, but everything continues like fair game. Look at what happened when General Chacha died. They thought the revolution would end. Look at what happened when General Ivor died. La République thought the revolution would end. It will not end because it is a spirit. The spirit of revolution is on. The people are tired of slavery. The Francophones may want to stay as slaves of France, but the Anglophones want to be free. They don't want to be slaves of France anymore. They are tired of France exploiting their resources. So which is why this week you can see action among all the Ambazonian restoration forces. You see action in Umojok, you see action in Kumba, you see action in Indian, you see action in Buea. All over the small territory of Ambazonia, there is action. The heat is on, as they say in America. The heat is on, okay? On the street, everywhere the heat is on. And it looks like La République is just overwhelmed. When you look at the arrogant General Valet Nka, he's now humble like a fool. He cannot even talk. You see him crying like a baby because the Ambazonian Restoration Forces are really teaching him a bitter lesson. So this is what it takes. We've been saying it on this show. We have so many videos this week. You see how, take for example, like in Kumba, there's action. Look at Banga, Bakundu, there's action there. Look at Ndian, over 6 delegates of La République were kidnapped, and now we heard one of them was killed, so we don't even know what's going to happen next to the other ones. So there's action everywhere. In O2, we have pictures which we cannot even show you. We have a military vehicle was transporting so many corpses of soldiers, toy soldiers from La République. So the boys in this area have learned how to fight guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla warfare is a type of warfare that is asymmetrical. It looks like the toy soldiers of La Republique don't know how to handle this kind of war, and they are paying the price. The boys figure out clever ways to ambush them, use the element of surprise, then they get all their weapons. And when you see what Field Marshal Nopiri does, he really announces when he's going to come to a territory. He surveys it with his team, then they figure out the best way to take all those soldiers down. And you see the way he cuts them down to size. Sometimes the whole thing is barbaric to a point that we just feel sorry for those families who have these soldiers who are coming to Amazonia to die for nothing, to die for a senseless war. And we pray that their families can start thinking. Let them start feeling the pains that the people of Amazonia have been feeling for over 4 or 5 years. When you lose your loved ones, it's not good. We've been saying this, so now it's time for peace. So let the people, because the US and some of the big powers, they are now beginning to sue for peace. When you look at all the videos that we've been showing you, there's so much happening and the people are not happy, okay? They're not happy and there needs to be a ceasefire. The warmongers who are profiting from this war, like General Valet Nka, they don't want the war to end, but they themselves are now losing a lot of soldiers, so this will make them to start thinking. So instead of worrying about capturing Field Marshal Nopiri, that's a wasted exercise. We need to come to the table and deal with this issue. From our understanding of history, all conflicts of this nature always end at the table. So let's not waste too much time on fighting. Come to the table, declare a ceasefire. Whether you like it or not, the Ambazonia Restoration Forces are going to chase you guys out and you'll be forced to leave the territory in humiliation. So we feel sorry for most of these forces of La Republique and we're telling them enough is enough. Watch all the pictures that we have for you to really understand what is happening in this conflict. So thank you very much for watching our show of today, and we say goodbye and may God bless you. Watch the show, subscribe, 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 subscribe. May God bless you.
Is your EMR EHR COVID-19 ready? If not, you do not know what you are missing. Why do you suffer in silence? Be smart. Turn to Alexia HTC today. Alexia HTC is the leader in virtual solution and communication technology in these times of pandemic crisis. When the unexpected happens, who are you going to call? Alexia HTC. Come and see how Alexia HTC Cloud Communications are enabling your fellow healthcare providers to consult with patients virtually and making big money. Alexia HTC also enables your employees to work remotely during the COVID-19 crisis. Are your employees safe? Do not jeopardize the health and safety of your patients and practice. What can Alexia HTC do for you? Alexia HTC is the new Colossus, the sister of physicians, who gives you back liberty, that is, the freedom to practice medicine your way. Vivacious virtual visits wherever you please. Amazing e-prescribing. Quick access to patient information. Easy access to medical records from other providers. Rapid drug allergy checks. Integrated lab tests and results. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled doctors yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your greedy corporations. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed physicians, to me. I give them the refuge. The happy home of Alexia HTC. Act now. Browse alexiahtc.com or call 240-350-1131.
Medical practice software is too old. Indeed, all the programs are built on MUMPS, technology of the 1950s, and the programs cost too much money. Epic and Cerner cost billions of dollars. Meditech costs thousands of dollars too. In fact, that's why we created AlexiaHTC.com, a new and free EMR/EHR for doctors. AlexiaHTC.com is built for HIPAA. Yes, magical one-screen technology, ease of use, quick charting, amazing e-prescribing, tight labs integration, multi-office difference, because we believe doctors and patients need a break today. Be the first to test drive AlexiaHTC.com. You have nothing to lose. You have everything to gain. Act now. Call 240-350-1131. Alexia Care Corporation at AlexiaHTC.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.